Welcome everyone. My name is Benadiah. I am a mystery. My job is to watch the events of this strange new multiverse being created due to the forever growing cause and effect that breathes life into these universes. These universes ask intriguing questions that inspire their very own existence. I must watch universes housed in worlds, some familiar, some unknown, and I must make sure to keep note on events that transpire. Come, join me. Here we have Ty with the Book of Tales. Here he attempts to retell the story of the teenagers with attitude. You would know them as the mighty Morphing Power Rangers. We shall sit here and watch as his version of events unfolds before us. As he writes in his book of untold power, so come with me as we get to witness and ask the question, what if Tiger Tales told the story of the mighty Morphing Power Rangers?
Billy sat there zoned out, completely unaware of the conversation unfolding around him, until Jason tapped him on the shoulder, snapping out of his trance. Yeah, sorry, what's going on? Billy asked, pushing his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Are you good, bro? Jason asked him. Yeah, sorry, I was in my own head, I guess. Billy sighed. Yeah, we can tell. Bulk chuckled. At least I have a brain. Billy snorted. Oh no, Bulk has a brain, it's just in his stomach, Trini said with a huff. Everyone burst out laughing. The group of friends had been friends for a fair few years, consisting of the brains of the batch, Billy, the martial art enthusiast and trainer, Jason, the dance instructor Kimberly, the environmentalist Trini, the creator of hip-hop keto Zach, Jason's right-hand man, Tommy, and the larger-than-life Bulk and the scrawny musician Skull. The 8 friends all sat there and hung out for a while, just outside of the school, on some benches. They were enjoying the afternoon sun. So, are you guys gonna come to my performance tomorrow night? Right? Skull asked with a tone-full tap on the table. Count us in, man, Tommy said. I bet you're going to be grand, Trini said with an over-enthusiastic smile. He is only doing it because the director is smoking hot, Bulk chirped. No, he has a point. Samantha is kinda hot, Zach mumbled. Kimberly smacked both of them over the head. Behave, both of you, Kimberly snapped. Bulk and Zach chuckled under their breath. So, we're gonna go to the arcade, yeah? Tommy asked. Yeah, let's go, Skull nodded. Okay, but I ain't buying the boys a hot dog, not after the mustard accident last time, Trini moaned. Bulk let out a long sigh. I told you, it was not my fault, he grunted. Guys, I got stuff to do. I'll catch up with you guys in a bit, Billy told his friends. Alright, man, if you're free later, text us, Tommy told him. Yeah, I will, Billy said with a nod. Then Billy headed off in the opposite direction. He walked for a while, headed out of town. He left Angel Grove and started hiking up a mountain trail. Eventually, he diverted off the trail and stood in the middle of nowhere. He then pulled out his backpack and pulled out a nifty-looking watch and sloshed it on his wrist. He then pressed the button on the side of it. Hey, Alpha, you can teleport me in now, Billy said into the watch. Then Billy was warped by blue energy and teleported away from the canyon where he once stood and teleported into the command center, the base and home of Zordon and Alpha. Zordon was an alien known as an Altarian. He was a warrior who used something known as the Morphing Grid to fight the evil machine empire, a looming threat that had returned and was on its way to threaten Earth. Zordon crash-landed on Earth before the dinosaurs were extinct and ended up in a coma. Luckily, his technology kept him alive. A few months ago, he woke up and got straight to work. Sadly, his body was injured, so he was placed in a massive tube floating there with tubes in his arms and machines keeping him alive. The human race didn't know that aliens existed yet, and his ship was long gone. The liquid he lived in kept his body from aging, but kept his injuries at bay. He was neither dying, nor was he getting any better. His assistant was Alpha, a robot hailing from the Machine Empire, yet he did not believe in the same thing as his machine brethren. The Machine Empire did not trust, nor particularly like, all organic life matter, and worked on eradicating it from existence. Alpha had spent some time looking for human help, someone with a genius mindset who would understand the technology side of Zordon's current quest. Then they found Billy. They had teleported Billy into the command center one spring evening a few months prior and convinced Billy to help them. Billy had spent a couple nights a week after school helping the alien and robot to complete their quest. He walked up to Zordon. "Hey Zordon, how are you today?" Billy asked. "I will admit, Billy Cranston, I do miss the sun, but I'm going to focus on the task at hand," Zordon said. Billy nodded at him. Then he turned to Alpha. "Alpha, bring me the morphers," Billy commanded. "Yes, friend Billy," Alpha chimed. The robot walked away and in a few moments had returned with a tray filled with belt buckle looking devices and a set of gold coins designed to slot into the center of the belt buckles. Billy picked up a laser tool and started tinkering with the morphers. After a few hours of dedicated concentration, sweating an abnormal amount, he put down the laser tool and sighed. I think I did it," Billy sighed with a small grin. "We will need to test them, friend Billy," Alpha said. "Alpha makes a good point, Billy. We will need to test the morphers," Zordon sighed. "I can do it," Billy muttered, wiping his forehead. He picked up one of the morphers. Each coin had an engraving that symbolized its power source. Billy picked up the Triceratops morpher and gripped the handle firmly. "Okay, hold on tight. Trigger the word is the power. Morphing grid is neutral, but is not harmful," Billy muttered to himself. He took several steps back away from Zordon's tube and Alpha. Then he held out the morpher. "Triceratops!" he called out. He suddenly felt a surge of energy rush through him. It wrapped around him and encased him in a blue spandex-like power suit. It was thin and flexible with gloves, boots, and a helmet that had a Triceratops theme. "Billy, talk to me. Are you okay?" Zordon asked. "Billy, friend, talk to us," Alpha called out in a panic. Billy stood and clenched his knuckles. He placed his hands on his helmet, then he ran his hand over his chest. "I think I'm okay," Billy chuckled. "Everything reads perfectly fine here, Zordon," Alpha said, looking at one of the computer screens. "Billy, you have successfully morphed into the Blue Power Ranger," Zordon cheered. "I feel strong. Powerful. It's like I know how to defend myself, like how to fight. It's almost like it's being downloaded into my brain. Like the Matrix," the Blue Ranger stated. "That's supposed to happen," Alpha cheered. "Power down," the Blue Ranger called out, and with a shimmer of colourful light, the Blue Ranger's suit diminished, leaving Billy once again just Billy. Billy placed the morpher down. "I'm done. The morphers are ready. The Zords are ready, and you need to pick your rangers. The Machine Empire's coming, I guess, so I'll leave. I'll see you guys around," Billy said sadly. Billy collected his things and walked up to the console. "I'll see you guys soon, I hope," Billy said. Then before Zordon and Alpha could say anything, Billy hit the button on the console and teleported out of the command center. "Zordon, did you just get a chance to tell Billy that the morphers would only collaborate with teenagers?" Alpha asked his master. "No, I did not. But we will have to tell him soon. Earth's fate depends on it," Zordon replied. The Machine Empire's royal ship hung above Earth, its atmosphere in arm's reach. Earth was visible from the throne room. Upon the thrones was the king of the Machine Empire, King Mondo, and beside him his Queen Machina. "Oh, my love, explain to me again why we're here, and our army is not," Machina asked Mondo. "Well, I wanted to get a lay of the land, so to speak. I wanted to see what Earth has to offer, first hand," King Mondo sneered. "So what's the plan, my love?" Machina asked. King Mondo raised his staff and slammed it on the ground twice. The door beside the throne room opened, and their general, the leader of the Machine Empire, walked in. He walked up to the thrones and dropped down to one knee. The general was horrifying to look at, as he had no skin and had a metal exoskeleton. "Rise, my General Zed," King Mondo commanded. General Zed stood and looked at Mondo. "What can I do you for, my king?" General Zed asked. "I want to see how easy it is to ruin this planet. Most elite species, the humans. Send a squadron of cogs and a captain to Earth. Get us some data. But more importantly, give us time. Our army is almost here," King Mondo told his general. "Yes, my lord," General Zed replied with a bow. He then left the throne room and headed to execute the task at hand.
A squadron of cogs, the soldiers of the Machine Empire, were sent down to Earth with one of the army's captains. They landed in Washington, D.C., and quickly engaged in firearm combat with Earth's army of human soldiers. They quickly become outmatched against the Machine Empire's weaponry. They needed help urgently.
Billy walked out of his class. His head hung low. His expression was a portrait of sadness and emptiness, and Balcontrini walked up to him. "Hey, big guy, what's going on? Why do you look so down?" Balk asked him. "Oh, nothing," Billy lied. In fact, Billy was extremely sad. The last few months he had been secretly working with Zordon Alpha, which had brought some meaning to his life. He now felt empty, without purpose, and sad because he truly felt like he had made friends with the blue alien and his robot assistant. "Want to come to the benches and hang out?" Trini asked with a friendly smile. "Yeah, sure." Billy shrugged. He then followed Bulk and Trini down the corridor. Then suddenly his watch beeped. It was the way that Zordon summoned him. But why did Zordon need his help? Billy thought. Billy was confused that something in him felt worried, scared, and a little bit concerned. He stopped in his tracks. I forgot something in class? Go on ahead, I'll catch up," Billy said to his two friends. "Okay." Trini nodded. Then Trini and Bolt carried on walking. Billy bolted into the classroom, making sure it was empty. Then he pulled out the communicator, slipped it on his wrist, and pressed the side button. "Zordon, is everything okay?" Billy asked. "Yes, Billy, but we need to talk," Zordon replied. Then suddenly Billy was teleported out of the classroom and teleported into the command center. "Whoa, guys, warning next time," Billy snapped. "Sorry, friend Billy, it's urgent," Alpha sighed. "What's going on?" Billy asked hesitantly. "Check the viewing globe," Alpha told him. He walked over to the image-transmitting orb that sat at one end of the room on one of the counters, and it showed a massive spaceship floating above Earth. "Is that them? The Machine Empire?" Billy asked in shock. "Yes, Billy. Your government's technology would not be able to pick them up, but we did. There's also this," Zordon replied. Billy looked back at the viewing globe and saw a bunch of weird-looking foot soldiers and an octopus-themed robot. "Wait, what are those?" Billy gasped. "Collective Organized Guardian Sentries, or COGS, if you will, are King Mondo's foot soldiers, and the water animal-themed robot thingy must be a captain," Alpha stated. "So this is where you pick your rangers, right? Where'd the morphers come in? I just hope they work," Billy sighed. "Billy, there's one piece of information I did not relay to you. About the Power Rangers," Zordon told him. "Okay," Billy replied. He was confused. He walked up to Zordon's containment tube. "Atarian and humans have very different aging process. For the morphers to work, they must be bonded with a human at the age between children and adults," Zordon explained. "So, you mean teenagers?" Billy questioned. "Yes, not all types of Power Rangers, but these specific coins, yes," Zordon nodded. "What happens if an adult uses them?" Billy asked, scared to hear the answer. "An adult can use them, sure, but not for as long. There might be complications to their physical body. To minimize the threats the morphing grid has on a human body, teenagers are the prime subjects," Zordon explained. "Okay, so why are you telling me this now?" Billy asked. "We need you, Billy, to be a Power Ranger," Alpha butted in, a hint of cheer in its voice. "Wait, you want me to be one of the Rangers?" Billy asked. "Yes, Billy, but there is more. Over the last few months, you spoke very highly of your teenage friends. A team of Rangers needs to trust, but they must also care about others. I believe your friends are the perfect candidates," Zordon told Billy. Billy walked over to the morphers now presented on the wall. He held his hand out and suddenly one of the power coins started glowing blue and flew from the morpher to Billy's hand. He caught it and examined it. It was a Triceratops coin. Zordon had wanted each coin with a dinosaur. He once told Billy he enjoyed watching them millions of years ago. He clenched his fists around the Triceratops power coin and a surge of blue energy wrapped around his body. Whoa, Billy gasped. He then walked over to the viewing globe and he could see the cogs and the robot attacking the soldiers in Washington, D.C. Then he walked over to Zordon. Okay, Zordon, let me bring my friends in, Billy told him confidently.
Billy's friends headed for the hall for lunch, but suddenly all 7 of them were engulfed in an array of different color lights, and they were teleported to a strange room unknown to them.
The 7 teenagers teleported into the command center. They all looked around, confused and scared. Oh my god, did we just get abducted? Kimberly screeched. Maybe we did, Skull muttered. You guys did not get abducted, Billy called out. Everyone turned around to see Billy stood next to a robot, and behind them was a blue figure floating in a liquid in a massive tube. Alien! Zach barked. Then he fainted. Tommy caught him before he hit the floor. Zach woke up moments later and was pulled to his feet. Please don't tell my mother, Zach groaned. Billy, what's going on here? Jason ordered. Please, allow me to explain, the blue alien spoke. Guys, this is Zordon. Yes, he's an alien, and this is Assistant Alpha, Billy told his friends. And you know these guys? Bulk asked. I've been helping them for the last couple months, Billy told his friends. Helping them do what? Take over the world? Zach barked. Actually, quite the opposite, Zordon said. Everyone looked up to the alien floating in the tube. Hello, teenagers of Earth. My name is Zordon. I was once a warrior who was destined to keep my planet safe from those who wished to do it harm. I was brought here millions of years ago, after I failed. When your dinosaurs roamed is when I crash-landed. I then was injured by my foe and was rendered in this tube. But though I thought I could defeat the evil, I could not. And the evil continued throughout the years, and there's now new threat here. Please turn your attention to my viewing globe, Zordon stated. Billy gestured to everyone. They turned to the viewing globe, which showed King Mondo's spaceship. Here is the leading ship of the Machine Empire, a race of machines armed with devastating technology, and they are here waiting for their army to arrive. The clock is ticking. Early hours this morning, they sent a group of soldiers called Cogs and a captain to attack a place you humans have dubbed Washington, D.C., Zordon explained to them. The viewing globe showed the U.S. Army fighting the Cogs and losing miserably. We believe you human leaders have hid this from your news stations to, not cause panic, Alpha theorized. Okay, but what does this have to do with us? Tommy asked. Billy has helped me with reinventing the very thing I used to try and save my planet. The Morphing grid. It's an energy source like no other, and with the right minds are those who can tap into the Morphing grid, creating weapons, vehicles, and combat suits, Zordon explained. And you want us to help? Zach asked. We want you to become Power Rangers, Alpha called out. Everyone looked at each other rather confused. Guys, we really need to help. We're the only ones who can save the world. We would be heroes, in a sense, Billy chimed in. I would love to be a hero, Skulk pointed out. Only could you think you'd get yourself a girlfriend, Jason sniped. True, Skull shrugged. I want to help. If these machines are going to destroy the Earth and there's something I can do to help, I'm gonna, Trini said. Yeah, count me in, Jason nodded. Fine, let's help the alien-looking thing, Zach muttered. I think it's decided, Tommy nodded. Hell yeah, Skull cheered. This is going to ruin my hair, isn't it? Kimberly asked with a moan. Can I get a six-pack? Bulk hushed. Okay, thank you. Now copy me, Billy told his friends. Billy walked over to the wall where the odd-looking belt buckles were displayed. He then held out his hand and one of the belt buckles teleported to his grip in a flash of blue. The 7 teenagers walked over to the wall and held out their hands as well. Each belt buckle started glowing a different colour. The red one teleported to Jason, the yellow teleported to Trini, the black teleported to Zach, the green teleported to Tommy. Kimberly got the one that glowed pink, Bulk got the one that glowed purple, and the orange one was teleported to Skull. They each examined their power morphers and the power coins that were slotted into the center. Billy held up his morpher. These are power morphers. With them we can turn into Power Rangers. Billy stated. This is nuts. Tommy sighed. Yeah, but kinda cool though, Skull muttered. Your army needs your help. We can teleport you to Washington, D.C., Zordon told them. Now what do we do? Kimberly asked. First off, a leader must be decided upon, Zordon told the team. I nominate Jason, Billy said. Me? Why me? Jason asked confused. You're a better fighter. You're the reason most of us even know each other, Billy explained. Whoa, dude, you're the reason why we're here. You helped this Zordon guy out and you picked us. I say you lead us, Jason stated, punching Billy gently in the arm. I second that, Kimberly said. Yeah, let's go, Tommy nodded. Lead the way, boss, Skull said. Okay, guys, follow my lead, Billy said with a small smile. They all stood in a line. Billy took one step forward. They all held out their belt buckle like power morphers, and one by one they called out their prehistoric power. Tyrannosaurus, Jason called out. Pterodactyl, Kimberly called out. Mastodon, Zach called out. Saber-toothed tiger, Trini yelled. Chasmosaurus, Skull called out. Ankylosaurus, Bulk yelled out. Stegosaurus, Tommy yelled. Triceratops, Billy called out. Then in a flash of multiple colours that filled the room, each teenager was wrapped in the morphing grid energy, and then as the light vanished, there stood before Alpha and Zordon was the 8 Power Rangers. Jason had morphed into the Red Ranger. Trini morphed into the Yellow. Billy was blue. Tommy was green. Bulk was purple. Skull was orange. And Zach had become the Black Ranger, whilst Kimberly became the pink one. Really? The black guy becomes the Black Ranger? The Black Ranger barked. Actually, the coins pick you. Sorry, Alpha replied. Now, Rangers, in your minds is a secret vault of information only accessible when morphed. Your brain now knows how to protect itself. Your body, it knows how to fight and how to protect others. Your mind knows how to wield your individual weapons and the Zords, Zordon told them. Before anyone could ask any questions, Alpha pressed several buttons. We will now teleport you to Washington, D.C. Good luck, Power Rangers, Alpha said. Then he hit one final button and the 8 Rangers teleported away. They appeared in Washington, D.C., in the middle of the road. The army was stood, hiding behind abandoned vehicles, as the cogs all stood there with their weapons. The Blue Ranger took one step forward and turned to his friends. Guys, we gotta take down these cog things and keep the army safe, the Blue Ranger commanded. The Rangers ran in and jumped over the barricades and then ran at the cogs. The soldiers stopped firing and watched as the 8 multicolored heroes dived at the cogs. The Red Ranger jumped up and spun his foot around, kicking a cog off its feet. The Purple Ranger, being larger than all the others, just jumped forward and flattened 2 of the cogs. The Green Ranger ran in on a cog, which threw a punch, but the Green Ranger caught its fist, twisted its wrist before punching it in the face, then he turned around and pulled the cog over its shoulder, slamming it on the ground. The Black Ranger flipped over a cog as he landed. He threw a kick back, kicking the cog. The Yellow Ranger backflipped, kicking 2 cogs in the chin at the same time. The Orange Ranger dropped into the split and punched a cog in the crotch. Then the Blue Ranger lifted a cog over his head and threw it into more cogs. The Pink Ranger threw several jabs into a cog before she kicked it in the chest. The Rangers outsmarted and defeated the cogs with ease. Then the octopus robot appeared. And what have we here? The octopus robot chuckled. We're the Power Rangers, the Blue Ranger called out as the Rangers all gathered together. Please, you're nothing but colourful humans. I am Octillery, and I'm here to destroy you, the robot called out. Guys, this one is different to the cogs, the Pink Ranger muttered. I say we take him on, the Orange Ranger chuckled. We have to be careful, though, the Red Ranger told the team. Artillery fired several explosive rounds, which hit the team of Rangers. They were thrown off their feet as sparks flew off their suits, and they hit the ground hard. They staggered up to their feet. Okay, this guy packs a punch, the Black Ranger grunted. Rangers, if it helps, your ranger forms come with a set of weapons, each one suited to their wielder, Alpha told them through their communicators. Alright, let's give them a try, the Blue Ranger ordered. Alpha instructed them on what to do, then they all held out their hands and in a flash of light, each one of their weapons appeared in their hands. And what do we have here? Artillery growled. Power sword, the Red Ranger called out, wielding a red-hilted sword. Power axe, the Black Ranger called out, wielding a one-headed axe. Power bow, the Pink Ranger called out, wielding a bow capable of shooting energy arrows. Power staff, the Green Ranger called out, spinning a bow staff between his fingers. Power hammer, the Purple Ranger called out as he wielded a single-handed hammer. Power daggers, the Yellow Ranger called out, wielding 2 daggers. Power tonfa, the Orange Ranger called out, wielding a pair of tonfas. Power lance, the Blue Ranger called out, wielding a double-ended triple-piked lance. The 8 Rangers all dropped into their fighting stances and prepared for artillery. The Octopus robot shot several more blasts at the Rangers. The Green Ranger stepped forward and spun his staff around, deflecting the shots. The Pink Ranger jumped into the air and fired several arrows, and they struck artillery. The Red Ranger ran in and slashed the robot several times. Then he dived to one side, allowing the Purple Ranger to run in and slam his hammer into the robot's chest, sending him flying across the road, crashing into the ground. As the robot stood, the Yellow Ranger landed next to it. She spun around and slashed the robot several times. The robot staggered backwards, staggering towards the Rangers. The Orange Ranger ran up and jabbed the robot with his tonfa, then spun around the other one and smacked the robot in the chest. Then the head. The Green Ranger ran at the robot, spun his staff, and struck it multiple times before hitting the robot in the stomach and chest. Then with a quick spin of the staff, he rammed it up the robot's chin, knocking it into the air. The Blue Ranger jumped up and with his lance he struck the robot several times and jabbed the robot into the chest, pushing it down, making it crash into the ground, landing on top of the robot as well. He quickly jumped off. Artillery stood up and looked at the Black Ranger. As he ran up, he fired several more blasts, but they all missed. The Black Ranger slid across the ground and past the robot. As he jumped to his feet, he slashed artillery with his axe across the stomach, then across the chest. The Black Ranger ran up his body, kicking off it, launching himself into the air. As he landed on the ground, he brought his axe down hard, dealing the final slash attack. Artillery stumbled back, then fell to the floor. There was a minor explosion, then there was no sign of the machine. The soldiers all clapped and cheered. The civilians that hid or was watching the chaos joined in on the celebration, cheering for their new heroes. The Ranger weapons disappeared as they all stood there waving at the crowd. On the Machine Empire's leading ship, King Mondo slammed his staff on the ground. What are the Power Rangers doing on Earth? The king barked. I do not know, my king, but I may have a solution, General Zed muttered. Do tell. Machina chimed. General Zed held out his arm, and from his palm a spear extended. He grabbed it and presented it to his king and queen. The last time we dealt with Rangers, I stole a Megazord core and implemented it into my spear. If I aim it right, I can make artillery grow giant size, General Zed stated. Once again, General, you have outdone yourself, King Mondo chuckled. Do it, General, Queen Machina hissed. General Zed left the throne room and climbed onto the hangars, and as he looked down to Earth, he aimed his spear and threw it. It went down to Earth, landing at the exact spot artillery was destroyed. There was a massive amount of blinding light, and the Rangers covered their visors. As the light subdued, the Rangers looked up to see artillery once again, but this time he was gigantic. Holy smoothie, he's massive, the Yellow Ranger barked. Don't think we're going to be able to fight him with our weapons this time, Chief, the Purple Ranger grunted. Zordon, our robot problem just got a lot bigger, the Blue Ranger called out into his communicator. Billy, it is time for you to summon the Zords, Zordon told them. Again, what is a Zord? The Black Ranger asked. Reach deep within your minds. The Morphing Grid has gifted you the knowledge on how to control your Zords and how to merge them together to make the Megazord, Zordon explained. All the Rangers stood there closing their eyes, the images of their Zords coursing through their minds. At the same time, the now giant artillery started blasting down buildings and explosions erupted throughout the entire city. We need Megazord power now, the Blue Ranger called out. Then, out of nowhere, 8 gigantic dinosaurs appeared, each one related to their respective ranger, each one donning their ranger colors as well. They're massive, the Black Ranger called out. They're so badass, the Orange Ranger cheered. They're amazing, the Green Ranger called out. The Zords all roared as they started to combine. The Tyrannosaurus, Mastodon, Saber-toothed Tiger, Pterodactyl and Triceratops Zords all combined into a humanoid machine, as the Stegosaurus, Ankylosaur and Chasmosaurus all combined into another Megazord. The 8 Rangers jumped high into the air and landed in their cockpits, the Blue Ranger taking the lead with the primary Megazord, and the Green Ranger taking the lead with the secondary Megazord. It's like riding a bike, the Blue Ranger muttered, trying to convince himself that he was doing was completely normal. I will destroy your pathetic lives, Octillery bellowed. The primary Megazord ran up to the robot and slammed its fist into its chest, making it stumble. Then Octillery unleashed a barrage of energy blasts which struck both Megazords, sparks flying off of them. The Rangers were failing around in their chairs. All 8 Rangers grabbed onto their consoles and the Megazords stabled themselves. We have weapons, guys, the Green Rangers announced. Okay, Tommy, use your Mega Blaster to cause some distraction and cover fire. We'll then deal the final strike, the Blue Ranger commanded. On it, Blue, the Green Ranger called out. Then, both Megazords summoned their weapons. A big silver sword appeared in the primary Megazord's hand, and a big silver and bronze blaster appeared in the secondary Megazord's hand. Octillery fired upon the Megazords once again, but its blasts were retaliated by the secondary Megazord's counterfire. It blasted the attacks back, then fired at Octillery. The primary Megazord moved swiftly around the two as they blasted one another. It got close to the robot, its sword glowed blue, then the primary Megazord slashed down an almighty attack, hitting the octopus-themed robot once again. The robot fell and exploded, leaving no trace of its existence. The Rangers cheered within their cockpits as the day was saved.
The Power Rangers quickly took down the captain and his cogs. It was normal human behavior to celebrate their victory. Unknown to them, this was all a distraction, as the Machine Empire's full fleet was mere moments away from Earth. Not only was their victory going to be short-lived, but they were about to engage in a war for their lives, and the lives of all beings on Earth.
The Rangers teleported into the command center. They all demorphed with smiles upon their faces. We did it! Kimberly cheered. We were so badass, Skull roared. That was actually kind of exhilarating, Zack chimed. Rangers, you did a fantastic job, but sadly we're not done. Please turn your attention to the viewing globe, Zordon told them. The Rangers turned to the viewing globe and saw the Machine Empire's main ship, but this time it was not alone. It was surrounded by all types of other ships. The ships went on for miles and miles, going as far back to the point there were only small dots in the background. That is a lot of ships, Trini gasped. Can we even take on that many? Tommy asked. You must, Rangers. The entire world is at stake, Alpha told them. King Mondo zapped General Zed with a surge of lightning. You failed me once again, General. But no matter. Now our army is here and we can take this planet by force, King Mondo stated. We shall have Earth in the palm of our hand soon enough, darling, Queen Machina chuckled. I am sorry, my king, General Zed hissed. Go feed the prisoners, Queen Machina ordered. General Zed bowed to the Machine King and Queen, then he left the throne room and entered the prison cells. He pushed the trolley along, sliding trays of food through the hatches on the cell doors. Then he reached cell 1993 and opened the door. He walked in to see an alien woman, thin, weak, and drained. Hello, Zed, the woman hissed. That is General to you, Zed barked. Pathetic, the woman growled. You could have been at my side. All you had to do was marry me. You could have called me husband. But you decided to become the White Ranger instead of my beloved, Zed roared. Your skin was uglier than what you look like now, the woman sneered. You are a devil of a woman! You'll give up your powers soon enough, Zed growled. Zed then chuckled, and then chucked the tray of food across the room and it hit the wall. He turned and walked away. He stopped in the doorway and took a deep breath in. Rita, please, don't delay this any longer. Mondo will kill you eventually, Zed told her. He closed the cell door and walked away. He then went to prepare to invade Earth.
The Rangers prepared for the war ahead as the Machine Empire sent their ships on a full-scale assault on Earth. But that is a tale for another time. We shall leave this universe here for now. Let us allow Ty to continue to write the Book of Tales. And once he has written the next part to this new version of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we shall return. But for now, don't forget to let your mind wander, explore, and delve into the multiverse. I shall continue my journey, observing this strange new multiverse. Join me next time as we answer the question, what if?